Well, most definitely. One of the big things that is happening today is the MP's informal session, or Kamukunji. We've got Rita Tinina live at Parliament, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the developments there. Rita, what are we looking at so far? What has been discussed?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Nancy. That Speaker's Kamukunji that you talk about just got underway in the last half hour or so, but this is not your ordinary Speaker's Kamukunji. Both houses of Parliament, that is the National Assembly and the Senate, are meeting this afternoon. And the agenda basically was set last week. Remember, the National Assembly and the Senate, in the past, they have engaged in supremacy battles, but now it appears they have found some unity of sorts. And this, they have a common enemy, I would say. Remember, you all recall the instructions by the court, the injunctions by the court that have made the governors and the MPs not so happy. That is, in fact, the agenda of today's meeting, which was set last week by a few members of Parliament and a few senators, plus majority leaders from both houses, that is Aden Duale from the National Assembly, as well as Kindiki Kithure from the Senate. And during that press conference last week, they indicated that they want to bring some matters under control, basically to tame the governors and the judiciary. The judiciary for issuing what they term as injunctions that are not necessary. During that press conference last week, Aden Duale saying that they will rein in on judges whom he termed as engaging in bench fixing. So on the side of the judiciary, Aden Duale indicating that they will do two things. He says first, they will bring back the Vetting of Judges and Magistrates Act to ensure that judges who join the judiciary after the year 2010 are vetted. Plus, he said the House, the National Assembly, that is, has the powers to discuss the conduct of individual judges on the floor of the House. And so he said that those judges that the National Assembly feels are engaging in bench fixing, they will have their names tabled before the floor of the House, and members of Parliament then will discuss their conduct. When it comes to the governors, several things are perhaps up for discussion during the meeting that I said got underway in the last half hour or so. One is that the Senate is seeking to trim the powers of the governors. First of all, there is the issue of the title, Excellency, as well as flying the flag. And one of the issues that the meeting will discuss is the national flags, emblems and names bill, which, if they agree to table it in Parliament and it is passed, the governors then might lose their title, Your Excellency, as well as lose the privilege of flying the flag. But that is not all. The senators and members of Parliament are also looking at the possibility of trimming the revenue to the counties. Currently, that stands at 15% according to the Constitution. Last year, it was increased to 33%. But now the senators and MPs are arguing that to rein in on the governors, that figure perhaps needs to come down to what is stipulated in the Constitution. So we are waiting to see whether this meeting this afternoon will rubber stamp that agenda that was set last week by both majority leaders from both houses. The meeting this afternoon is being chaired by speakers from both houses of Parliament, from the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, as well as the Senate Speaker, Ekwe Ethuro. After the meeting comes to a close, it should come to a close anytime before 2 p.m. Remember, the leaders have to go for the afternoon session in Parliament, right, and in the National Assembly and in the Senate. So we are waiting after the meeting comes to a close. We are hoping we will get a briefing either from the two speakers of both houses or the majority leaders from both houses. Nancy.
Right. Thank you, Rita. Now, as many people are saying, this could be a turning point for devolution. And you did mention that a lot of the things on the agenda are actually to do with clipping the wings of the governors, so to speak. Do you think this is more of a retaliation on the part of Parliament, or could it be that this is something that could be positive for devolution?
You could look at it in two ways. First of all, even in the meeting itself, not all leaders are agreed on the issue of cutting the revenue to the counties. They are saying if that revenue is reduced, then it will cripple devolution. But on the whole, even analysts are agreed that perhaps this is a supremacy battle. The senators trying to show the governors perhaps who is boss here. The senators insist that according to the law, they have the oversight over how resources in the counties are spent, and that the governors are answerable to the Senate in terms of how they spend that money in the counties. So the senators basically saying we are superior here, we have an oversight role on governors in the counties, and governors basically must play ball and must, even last week during that press conference that was addressed by majority leaders from both houses, and wallets, telling the governors that they can run, but ultimately they will have to come to the Senate and explain how they are spending their funds in the counties. Nancy.
Right. Thank you very much, Rita. That's Rita Tinina. She is at Parliament. And of course, we will keep you updated as this goes on.